How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Amityville Haunting. And not the Amityville Horror, the Amityville Haunting. This is from 2011, written and directed by Geoff Meed, stars Jason Williams, Amy Van Horne, and Devin Clark. And this is also put out by the Asylum. If you guys know the Asylum, they love low-budget horror movies and they love mockbusters. So this was a best-case scenario for them. Amityville is a real town, and I'm not a copyright lawyer, but the original murders being true crime are something you can reference. So it's led to a lot of low-budget horror movies setting their movie in Amityville and becoming a mockbuster. So you see a ton of unofficial Amityville movies, and this was also right after the Paranormal Activity found footage boom. Found footage was a really popular style. It was also really cheap, so the Asylum, of course, two great things that go better together, an Amityville movie and a found footage movie. Honestly, I don't see why they didn't do 20 or 30 of these things. But of course, it didn't come out great. You know, I'm not a comedy teardown channel. I'm not going to spend all my time complaining. And to be honest, there are a few times where this movie did have a few moments, but it's not great. Honestly, the best case scenario for this is if you want a low-key, kind of cheesy, kind of just put something on and chill out movie. It's kind of a movie you can totally space out through. There are some cheesy moments that give this thing a bit of life and a bit worth watching, but there are also moments where it does drag a little bit. I don't know. Is it just me where found footage movies that are kind of bad but not terrible kind of almost feel like junk food and you can kind of just, you know, pop them on whenever if you just want to relax? Examples of the cheesiness. The scares in this movie hardly ever work, but there's a reoccurring scare where the camera will do something or it'll cut to a different camera and there's just a dude standing there. Like, a lot of the ghosts aren't super scary and it thinks that just them appearing suddenly, it's a ghost. It never works. And also there's several deaths in this movie, a surprising amount of death really, and most of them are super cheesy. Camera going around a corner, there's a dead body just lying there. I don't know. It was kind of funny. The dad also is a big over-the-top character. In this movie, he goes crazy trying to protect his family, but, you know, you'll get the son going, Dad, there's a ghost, and the dad going, shut up, kid, I'm trying to protect you. And then when he kind of figures out what's going on, he does get farther and farther down the rabbit hole, and you do get some over-the-top moments with the dad, him pulling his gun on a teenager. Yeah, he's going pretty crazy, and that is a memorable element. It does have one thing in it, though, that I think does work really well, and that's the first-person point-of-view camera. A lot of the movie is told from the kid's perspective, and often he's filming things he's not supposed to, like adults talking. And in turn, you'll get the kid poking her out from around the corner or hiding down low, and that leads to weird camera angles and also tells you a bit about the kid's character, him obsessively filming and sneaking around to do so. It's interesting. Later in the movie, you'll get the kid talking directly to the camera, and I feel like I actually know his character better from just how the camera moves. And in turn, I do like the first person point of view of the kid, just kind of being this kid that's doing something he's not supposed to. I think that is the one legitimately good thing with this movie. Other than that, though, cheesy at best, slow at its worst moments. It's not the best thing ever. Let's actually take a moment and do a bit of a deeper analysis and talk about the plot. I'm going to talk about the plot, but I won't do major spoilers. I'll be avoiding the end. I just want to dig down and analyze. We open up Who is the first character to get killed in every horror movie? The prologue characters. We get a bunch of teenagers sneaking into the Amityville house, and they're going to drink and make out, as teenagers are wont to do. But anyway, the kids are killed, and the prologue teens are a little, their deaths are a little unremarkable. Don't worry, we'll get to those stupid ones literally in a few minutes. We get to the main family after that. Mom, dad, older sister, middle brother, younger sister. And they're looking at the house, and we get this realtor, and I think the realtor is a good example of the acting in this movie, where she's doing a good enough natural job, but the idea is she's supposed to be secretly nervous because she knows about the hauntings. And there's a few times where it just seems a little too obvious, and I don't know if it's the actress's choice or if it's the director going, look, the audience needs to know she's hiding something. I don't know, but there's a few moments that are a little too spelled out and feel a little too much like acting. And that's the thing is, in general, it is kind of naturalistic, but there are moments where it does kind of break the wall a little bit, and you do start to see the actors coming through as actors. So the acting in here is kind of meh, you know? Not great, not terrible, but there definitely is choreographed moments. And after that, we do get them moving into the house. And a few things right off the bat that I'll try to keep from being side tangents. One, they reference that there was Amityville movies, and yet they still do the trope of the house was so cheap. Like, if they made a movie out of your house, even for a bad reason, people would want to buy it. I mean, if I had the money, I would love to buy the Amityville house. There's no way you could literally get it cheap. And also, some people randomly just don't know. Like, the kid goes up to a mover and says, this is the Amityville house. And he says, what's that? And he's like, the Amityville house, almost like he thinks Amityville is a synonym for the word haunted. And he doesn't say, we're in Amityville, they're all Amityville houses. But yeah, the mover just has never heard about it before. Whatever. Another side tangent, the daughter is the reason why they moved. And it's also why the dad starts to get overprotective, and it's the turning point to him being kind of crazy. I don't think it ever explicitly spells out what the daughter did that made them move, but the way the dad acts around boys, it's probably sexual. And they moved 5 times in a year. You think after the first or maybe second move, you would realize that moving isn't the solution to your problem, and later on in the movie they threaten to send her to boarding school, and yeah, that might have worked out a little better. It's just kind of, you know, like the daughter just seems like a slightly angsty teenager, and they don't really elaborate on this plot point in any interesting way, and in turn it just feels like we need an excuse for them not being able to move anymore, and we need an excuse for the dad to go crazy. It's the daughter, whatever, don't think about it too much. Okay, side tangents over. In addition to the older daughter, we get the younger brother sneaking around with his camera. I really do like how he can be a little over the top and annoy the other characters in the movie. Get out of here, what are you doing filming here? And he really is just obsessive with this camera and totally missing a lot of cues. And yeah, just an interesting little character there, although a little bit too in your face and a little bit too much at times. And we also get the younger daughter who will be talking to the ghost of one of the murdered kids, and it's a case of creepy girl with imaginary friend. Anyway, the hauntings will get more, and that leads to a weird moment. You know, I said this is mainly roaming first-person camera. We do get static wides, but they're too little too late. Like, at the 1/3 mark, more or less, the dad finds the back door open and thinks the daughter snuck out in the middle of the night. So he puts one found footage camera in the living room. So it's like periodically will check in on the couch. It's kind of weird that we had to wait a whole act and then we get one static wide camera. Later on, the dad will like be talking to his military buddies. He's like, I've got connections. And then at like the 2/3 mark, so for the last act, we get more static wide cameras. And it is so weird that this is like a trope, but they almost like try to use it as little as possible. And it's like, don't you know static wides are more effective if we're constantly checking back and constantly looking at the areas? It is super weird to wait so long to get so few of them. I don't know what's up with that. But needless to say, eventually the characters are put under more stress. Eventually they start to notice there are ghosts around them. And the dad goes more and more nuts, but this time to protect his family. And things will get bigger and crazier, and it's okay. Like I said, the cheesy moments are fun. It just can drag sometimes between them. It's not a great movie. I can recommend it to the Amityville and the found footage purists that want to see as much as they possibly can. And I can recommend it as a cheesy, space out on a lazy day, get a few laughs movie. But it's not really great. There are definitely better Amityville movies. There are better found footage movies. And if you guys know of any other Amityville found footage movies, definitely let me know. I think I have a few of them. I just can't really remember which ones are found footage at the moment. I'll try to cover more Amityville in the future. It's definitely been one of those things I've been needing to talk about more. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my found footage playlist, where you can see me talk about other found footage movies. Rec, VHS, Paranormal Activity, but also another Asylum movie. Paranormal Entity is in there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.